Welcome to the Monkey Movie Club. As always, I am your host, Chimp Guy Movie Guy. And I know what you may be asking yourself right now, even though you saw the thumbnail and clicked on this video. Hey, Chimp Guy, why so blue? Well, I'm blue because today is the long-awaited Avatar episode. Yeah. Woo! Avatar, James Cameron Avatar. None of that last Airbender shit. Avatar and Avatar, The Way of the Water by James Cameron. That is what I'm mainly going to talk about today. Maybe James Cameron in general, too. But yeah, it's the Avatar episode, guys. What's going on? Thanks for clicking on this video. Like and subscribe if you would, please. I'd appreciate it. I was gonna post last week. This is actually my second attempt filming this video, and that is because as I was recording this video, a little kitty cat that lives in this building, I'm not gonna name names, but she ran across the ground, grabbed both the cord to my headphones and my microphone, and slammed the camera onto the ground. The camera freaked out a little bit. It knocked the SD card loose, and so none of the footage was saved onto the SD card after all, which is kind of crazy. And also it kind of bent my lens, I found out, because now the ND filter that I screw onto the front of the lens doesn't fit exactly right, all because some little piece of shit cat got the zoomies and wanted to run through while I was recording a Monkey Movie Club episode. But this is fine. Here I am 1 week later filming this. And I pretty much had filmed the whole episode, too. I talked for like 50 minutes, and then this fucking cat comes through and slams my camera onto the ground. So I'm not mad. I'm fine. No, I wasn't too mad. I was more shocked that she had the power to fucking throw that camera onto the ground. And she did. And lost all the footage and bent my lens. But praise Allah, it is not destroyed. The camera is fine. It's a pretty expensive camera, pretty expensive lens, and they are both okay. And that's kind of all I have. And if that were to break, I would lose my livelihood because I'm a photographer, videographer. Anyway, yeah, guys, hope you had a good New Year's. I did not at all. I got a Christmas present from my girlfriend. Tickets to go see this live comedy show, Kill Tony. You may have heard of it. Kill Tony is a show on YouTube. It's a stand-up comedy show based in Austin, Texas. And they were doing a live show in Austin, Texas. And my girlfriend got me tickets. And I went with my dad because my dad also likes the show. And that was really fun. It was a really fun time with my dad. We drank a lot of beer and had fun. But the day I got back, which was New Year's Eve, to be exact, I got back on New Year's Eve around 2 o'clock. And I had a little bit of work I had to do. I had a little bit of video editing I had to do before I could enjoy the New Year's Eve festivities. And I worked on a video, sat at my computer for about 5-6 hours, finished this video, and then I went off to my girlfriend's house to spend New Year's Eve with her family. And around dinner time, shortly after I had arrived, I wasn't really eating that much, and I'm kind of a big boy. I kind of can put some food down, and I took like 3 bites, and I was not feeling very good, and so it felt like in my stomach, like nothing was processing. It felt like everything was just stacking up and started making me kind of have some acid reflux and make me feel nauseous, and started feeling maybe a little lightheaded, and got a little bit of cold sweats, and she said I could go lay down in her room, and I did. And then I threw up violently, everything in my stomach, through my nose just really violently after laying down for an hour or so. And then I essentially felt like what was a fever and laid in that bed all through New Year's. So that was a great time for me. I went to the ER that night because I could not drink water without feeling like I was going to throw up again, and I was afraid of being dehydrated. And so we go to the ER. I really didn't want to. I don't have health insurance, and they did nothing for me. They prescribed me anti-nausea medicine. They took my temperature, they checked my weight, and they said, "Okay, fat ass, get out of here. Here's an $800 bill." So that was my New Year's. Hope you guys had a better New Year's than that. But while I was sick, I got home, after New Year's, and I essentially laid in bed for 3 days. Like one day, I swear, I got up like twice. Okay, the cat just ripped the monkey off the table. That's fine. Hope she doesn't destroy this shoot. But yeah, what was I? Oh yeah, I was laying in bed all throughout my illness, and hard to even get up the first few days. It took like 3 days until I felt like good enough to get out of bed. And I wanted to, I was feeling the Avatar itch, as one does every once in a while. So I rewatched Avatar, and I rewatched Way of the Water. And what you're seeing right now on screen is footage from an Avatar video game that came out recently called Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And I've been playing that game quite a bit. It is pretty freaking addicting. I can talk about that a little bit too, like you give a shit. I know this is a movie podcast. But yeah, I rewatched Avatar and I rewatched Way of the Water, and I loved it. I still love them. I had a great time with them, and I just kind of want to dive into those a little bit, maybe talk a little bit about Jimmy Cameron himself. But yeah, my watch is recently of Avatar. So the first Avatar is a pretty special movie to me, specifically because of my dad. My dad has interesting tastes in movies. He really just likes funny movies, and he likes action, and he just likes being entertained, And I think that's how a lot of normal moviegoers approach movies. Like it's a form of entertainment, not necessarily an art form, And power to you if that's how you engage with movies. I mean, that's how I engaged with movies at a very young age. Like, what else are movies to you as a kid other than entertainment? Like keeping your eyes busy so your parents can have a fucking break. But my dad specifically got me into Avatar because when Blu-rays came out, the physical media Blu-ray, when Blu-ray players came out, my dad bought one, and my dad kind of is the reason that I am into physical media the way I am, because my dad had a VHS player, he had a DVD player. I don't think he liked going to theaters all that much, so he got any home movie he liked, he would buy it and then watch it to death, whenever he wanted, because that's why physical media is great. When I was younger, we also had a local video store in the small town that I lived in. And I remember going there with my family, and just for 99 cents, you could rent a movie, just this piece of art you can just take home and just watch. And it was so close to my house, maybe a 5-minute drive, if even. And it was those are really special memories to me. And Avatar is important in this because it was the first Blu-ray that my dad bought for his Blu-ray player. I don't remember if I saw that in theaters when I was younger or not. It was 2009, so it was quite a long time ago. But I do remember watching the hell out of it at home because we had it on Blu-ray. And my oh my, did it look beautiful. I remember all the stages of television that my family had, we had those fat back TVs that you could plug your VCR into and plug your antenna into. I call them the fatback because they're like they're the square almost TVs with it's so heavy, like so unreasonably heavy. I've never held anything heavier than like a large one of those. It's insane. If you want a big screen, you've got to lift a 200-pound thing into your house. But we had a big one of those for the living room, and I remember it evolving over the years, getting what they called a plasma, plasma TVs, and then eventually like the big LED flat screens, and the TVs just getting thinner and thinner. And so all throughout my life, the physical media I evolved, and I saw part of that evolution through Avatar. He got like this collector's box set. It wasn't even like a normal Blu-ray. It was like a special kind of thick case because it had like freaking journal in it or something, whatever they call those. You know what I'm talking about. Kind of like a manual almost, but just had some interesting Avatar lore in the manual. I'm going to hit this real quick. I've been feeling like Angus Tully from the Holdovers recently, drinking a lot of Miller High Life. All my Holdovers friends will get that reference. It's the champagne of beers, if you did not know. I need to drink a beer when I film this, I think. I start drinking it while I start setting up to record, and it kind of, I don't know. I don't think it makes me speak my thoughts as clearly, but it kind of chills me out. I get a little nervous filming these. I don't know. It's just, I don't like being observed a lot of the time, and I don't feel like I express my opinions very clearly all the time, and I would hate to feel like I'm misrepresenting myself and then putting that on the internet forever. Anyways, getting past that, don't know why that came out, but yeah, Avatar on Blu-ray, watching it a lot at home. As a kid, I just thought it was a badass movie, and I almost kind of admired how much of an effect it had on my dad. My dad still is kind of a quiet person, and doesn't really open up a lot. Kind of keeps to himself, and to see something like a movie have such an effect on him, it made that really special for me as a kid. Like, wow, like this movie has just kind of captured my dad's attention and love so clearly, and it made me interested in the movie, and so I watched it on the couch a lot, and yeah, I love Avatar. It's a great movie. Only in my later age, as a cinephile, have I looked, viewed it as this environmentalist film, which it is. It talks about how the humans have killed Earth. It takes place in like 2150 or something, and humans have killed Earth, and now they're coming to Pandora, and they're doing as much damage to Pandora trying to get this unobtainium as they did to their homeland. And the movie's about kind of the damage that this kind of industrialization can bring to nature, and how the quest for profit of resources can just destroy the beauty of nature. And that's really powerful. I don't know if people like my dad really look at the movie like that, because I don't think my dad is what you would call an environmentalist. But I think it's really cool that James Cameron can make a movie like that that's really important to him, because, I think James Cameron's a pretty environmentally conscious person, and he can make this movie that's like important to him socially, while also making it literally like the biggest blockbuster ever. That's so insane and so cool, because it does have great action, great performances, great story, but it's also like this important kind of message to Cameron, and he is able to like do that while also being such a huge success and speaking to so many different people, and I think that's incredible. Like, I think that's what every creative person wishes they could do, like satisfy everyone and also like spread a message that they think is important. Like, that is, he did it. He like did the thing. Angela Bassett did the thing. James Cameron did the thing. And then Way of the Water, he did it again. It's kind of the same message, but with water, and James Cameron loves frickin' water. He be doing all those submarine missions and visiting the Titanic, rest in peace, the Titanic submarine. But, yeah, Jimmy Cameron doing his social justice and making good-ass movies. What do I love about Avatar? I love those blue little guys, or blue big guys, I should say. The special effects, I mean, that's what everybody kind of talks about when they talk about Avatar. And I mean, my God, just look at it. Like, go watch 2009 Avatar, and it just kind of blows me away that that's when that movie was made. There's really nothing like it of the time. And I don't have any good movies from the time to compare it to right now, but I watched Avatar, a week or two ago, and I was like still amazed. I was like, if this came out today, like, this would still be such an incredible movie. And what's so cool about the technical aspects of it is it's kind of like 2001 in the sense that 2001 came out and people are like, this is fucking black magic. Like, this is Satan. This is not real. Like, this guy actually went to space and filmed this, like, maybe Avatar isn't that revolutionary. Maybe it's not Stanley Kubrick revolutionary. But it's still like, if you're watching a movie and you are just like, wow, how did they do that? Like, this looks like it happened. Like, this is real to me. And that's how I was when I was younger too. I was like, these blue people are my friends. This is real to me. And that kind of amazement and spectacle is, I think, what a lot of people will appreciate about these Avatar movies. It's what I appreciate that about the Avatar movies. And I think I was watching an interview with James Cameron. I think it was maybe his directors on directors interview with Greta Gerwig that he did recently for Variety. But when asked about like the technical side of things, he kind of said that he didn't, when he's writing the script and, thinking of the story, he's not thinking like, this is how I'm going to do it. It's like, I want it to be this story, and then we're going to figure it out. I want to do this. I need to do this, and we're going to figure it out. Like, if there's no way to do it, we are going to discover the way to do it. We're going to, which is really cool. I think it was more so in the vein of Way of the Water. Like, Greta was like amazed by all the water stuff that they did, which I'm with you, Greta. I was also amazed by all the stuff they were able to pull off in the water. Something that I heard, maybe it was something I read, like an article or something, but for Way of the Water, they had the mocap suits on like strings and had the actors pretending to swim on strings, and James Cameron was like, yeah, no, this is not working. So they found a way to put certain mocap suits on actors and throw them in water and film it. Like, they had this huge warehouse with this huge tank of water that they built, like hundreds of gallons of water, and then had the actors in their mocap suits and then threw them in this tank and filmed them in the tank and got the performances like that, like in water. And that's really cool. I think that's cool, at least. And I like that attitude of like, because I like the attitude of, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. And I mean, certainly he has like the money and the support behind him to like, and the resources to figure it out, which a lot of people don't. But just regardless, I love that attitude, because when I want to create things, I'm always like thinking so realistically, like limiting myself realistically. Like, well, if I'm going to write a story, I've got to write it at something that can take place at this location because this is what I have access to, and I can't do that because I don't have access to that, or I can only have this kind of character because the actor friends that I have are like this. And, you know, I'm just like, and I mean, I think that's an okay a mindset to have for where I'm at, but I certainly don't have enough. I don't have James Cameron's balls, dude. I don't have the balls to just be like, this is the story I want to tell, and I'm going to figure it out. And I need those balls. I need James Cameron's balls. I need to have that attitude of, you know, maybe I don't know how to do this right now, but once the script is finished and I am confident with the story I want to tell on this paper, I will figure it out. I need that. I think creative people do need that. I need to stop limiting myself based on what's around me, because I think I use it maybe as an excuse to not make things. You know, I'm like, well, I can't do that. You know, like, I can't do a freaking huge horror picture because I don't have a lot of I don't have the special effects I need. I don't have the whatever. But, you know, I did a horror short for a competition recently, and I didn't know how to do a throat slit effect, but we tried to figure it out. It doesn't look great. The short kind of sucks dick, but, you know, we figured something out, you know. Anyway, not to freaking bring this all about myself, but I like that attitude. And James Cameron's the fucking man, dude. He figured it out. He pulled off Avatar. He pulled off Way of the Water. Way of the Water, dude, I saw Way of the Water in theaters a couple times. I wish I saw it more in theaters because, gee willikers, I had not seen a 3D movie in a long time in theaters. And to be honest, when I saw that all the showings near me when it came out were all Real D 3D, I was like, fuck, I do not want to sit through a 3D movie. Like, 3D just gives me a headache. It, you know, never looks 100% right. It's tacky. It's kind of blah, blah, blah. But I think I saw something at the time where it was like James Cameron being like, go see it in Real D 3D. This is how I want the people to see it. And I was like, fuck, dude, okay. Well, I'll go see it in Real D 3D. He filmed it knowing it was going to be presented like that. So I was like, you know what? Fine, James. Fine. I'll go see it in Real D 3D. And I am glad I did, man. It looked it was like one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. I sat kind of like in the perfect seats. I went with my dad, by the way. This is kind of a sweet little time I had with my dad. It was wonderful. Yeah, he was my Avatar guy, you know. So when Way of the Water came out, I was like, you're my Avatar guy. Let's go together. And I waited to see it until he had time to see it. And then, boom, we grabbed a freaking beer before, and then we saw Way of the Water in theaters, 3D. And I feel bad for 3D movies for people who wear glasses, like my dad, because I know you got to put the 3D glasses over your regular glasses. And I've never had to go through that, 2020 vision. But I feel bad for you, and I'm sorry, because it seems like it would be annoying as fuck, and I'm sure it is. And you don't get to experience James Cameron's vision the 100% authentic way like I do, and I feel bad for you. No, but for real, it was great. I was kind of blown away more than I was blown away by Avatar 1 when I first saw that. You know, you watch Avatar 2009 and you're like, how does this get better? How does this look better? You know, how do you make these effects look better? And he freaking did, baby. Oh my God. The scene, if you've seen Avatar Way of the Water, the scene at the end when the boat, spoilers, I guess, this boat is exploded and it's like nighttime. The eclipse has happened. It's dark but the fire, they're in the water swimming, the Na'vi, Jake Sully, the Sully stick together. And the fire, the orange color of the fire is bouncing off their blue skin in the dark while they're also in the water, so they're like kind of wet. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like one of the best things I've ever looked at. And yeah, it looks phenomenal. The 3D, I don't think it wasn't gimmicky either. I was expecting it to look a little, the 3D shit I watched when I was younger was like Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser. Brendan. And it's like, oh, a yo-yo's coming at the camera. Like my hand like, whoa. That kind of gimmicky 3D where it's like, we have this technology, let's freaking do something with it. No, I think the 3D for Way of the Water at least was there just to help with the immersion. Like, it felt so intentional. There are a lot of movies come out nowadays that get 3D releases, like fucking Super Mario Bros. I think the movie came out with 3D last year, 2 years ago. And it's like, I never saw it marketed to be 3D. It was just like, yeah, go see it in 3D and the freaking Goombas in your face, and it's like, come on. But when someone who is like a real filmmaker like James Cameron is like, hey, I shot my movie with this because I wanted it to look like this, so go see it like this, I'll go see it. Even if I don't like it, even if it does hurt my eyes sometimes, if you want me to see it that way, I'm going to go see it, dude. And I did, and it's great. I feel bad for you if you didn't see Way of the Water in theaters, Real D 3D. I love the theater. A lot of people don't like the theater. I watch Red Letter Media, and Red Letter Media, it's a channel on YouTube. They talk about movies and stuff. Seems like they hate the theater. They hate the experience of going to the theater. I think they just have terrible theater experiences. Babies crying, people talking, blah, blah, blah. That shit happens, but I never feel more focused and in the movie than I do in a theater. When I'm just in a dark room, no matter the time of day, it can be 2 p.m., it can be 10 p.m., time does not exist in that room. And that's also why I don't think I have as big of a problem with long movies. Because, dude, if I'm in that black room, I don't care about time passing. I am in this movie now. Like, time does not exist when I am in the cinema. Yep. Just freaking crush that, brewski. Yeah, I love the theater. I love going to the theater, but Way of the Water was one of the better theater experiences I've had. Me and my dad got smack dab, kind of like fifth row, middle, directly in the middle seats. The freaking guardrails in front of us. We're kicking our legs up on the guardrail, just chilling in the 3D IMAX. It was a great time. And when I rewatched Way of the Water, I'm going to be completely honest here. I know I kind of talked shit last episode on intermissions and watching movie in 2 parts. But I watched Way of the Water kind of in 2 parts. But I can explain. I was sick. I was sleeping a lot. I would be awake for a few hours, go back to sleep for a few hours, wake up for a couple hours, go back to sleep. Felt like shit. Was watching Way of the Water. I got like halfway through. It's kind of like 2 movies, kind of like Full Metal Jacket. You've got the stuff in the beginning that's all about the Sullys in the forest, and then kind of halfway through is when he decides to go into isolation and live with the water people, the water Na'vi. And so right as they were like going into isolation, I freaking fell asleep. Or, okay, I'm going to be completely honest. I turned it off because I felt the sleep coming on, I felt the eepiness coming, and I was like, I can't keep watching. I want to be able to focus on this movie. This movie deserves my focus. So I turned it off, put on some like white noise and fell asleep because I was sick. I was falling asleep again. And then when I woke up, I finished it, okay? So don't kill me. I just want to be completely honest with you guys because you guys are always completely honest with me. And you know what? I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of the Way of the Water hate. People, okay, it's not as good as the first one. No, nothing's as good as the first Avatar. The first Avatar is like my Bible, dude. Like, no, is it something we really need to say at this point? The first one's better. Yes. I think no person on earth will disagree with you. The first Avatar is in a league of its own. And as I explained to a couple friends online when talking about this, I think Way of the Water is simply worse. Simply cut everything. Like, we're not even talking about the movies. Way of the Water is worse because the novelty of the first one is gone. You know, I think it's just not, you can't, it's not, the problem with Way of the Water is that it's not the first one. That's what's wrong with Way of the Water. It's not the first Avatar, so it is bad, you know. I don't think anybody, I think there's some people who think it's bad, and those people are just losers. But Way of the Water is as big, as important of a technological achievement as the first one, in my opinion. It's maybe not as revolutionary as the first Avatar, but it is as big of an achievement just simply because of how he made the first movie. He made it look better than the first movie. And I know there's like some people that like talk about like there's apparently frame rate changes during some of the fight scenes and stuff, and it can kind of get in Way of the Water. It can kind of get on my nerves a little bit at times, but I think the movie just it works, man. I frame rate changes. I first of all, when I first saw Way of the Water, I did not notice frame rate changes. I was just so into everything that I just was simply in the moment and blown away by it. And in 3D, it's maybe a little harder to notice frame rate changes. I don't know. It's just a theory. Speaking of theory, rest in peace, Matt Pat. He died. Just kidding. So I don't have a normal bottle opener. Hold on, check this out. I don't know where any of my normal bottle openers are. So I'm using this spatula. It's all I have for a bottle opener. It's this huge spatula. Yeah, I just don't think the whole it's not as good as the first one is like something that needs to be said at this point. It's like, yeah, can we talk about why it's good? You know, can anybody I've talked to about Way of the Water recently, anybody, it's like, it's not as good as the first one. I get it. And I'm not trying to call anybody out. It's everybody. It's not like it's any single person. Everybody I've talked to that has seen Avatar and Way of the Water, everybody I've talked to, what they say is the first one's better. I understand that the first one is better. I agree with you. But I want to praise Way of the Water. I don't think it gets the praise it deserves. And I think in the future, maybe it will. I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I want to go as far to say that it's underrated, but it's feeling a little underrated. Way of the Water enjoyers, rise up, okay? What do I like about Way of the Water? Thank you for asking. I've already talked about how beautiful it looks, but besides that, I enjoy the family stuff in Way of the Water. It's a different side to the Sullys than we see in the first movie. We don't, Jake Sully is like a Na'vi at this point in Way of the Water. That's kind of what the whole ending of the first movie is about. It's, him fully transitioning into being one of the tribe, giving his human body to Ewa and becoming one of the tribe. And now we're getting to see him, living in this culture, being a part of this culture. And what is interesting to me is, the first movie is him falling in love with the culture, falling in love with the Na'vi. And something interesting in Way of the Water is how he has not, he's turned into a member of the tribe, but he has not completely lost who he was. He hasn't completely lost himself. He's still Jake Sully. He still wields an assault rifle on his Ikran. He is a marksman. He comes from the Sky People. And what I like is that he's not, I don't know, it's more interesting that he's not ignoring his past, but he's not completely disconnected from who he was. And I think him still having this kind of gruff corporal voice, when he's talking to his kids, he sounds like a drill sergeant. He sounds like a member of the U.S. military. He sounds like Sam Worthington, and that's not lost. He's still Jake Sully. He has just fully become a member of this tribe now, and I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful that he hasn't. It's like he has recognized the importance and the beauty of the Na'vi and Ewa. But, Ewa chose him before he was ever a member of the tribe, whenever Neytiri was going to kill his avatar. And that little floaty thing, I forget what those are called, excuse me, but it floats on the tip of her arrow. And she immediately knows, that's Ewa sending her a signal that, he's special. He's, don't kill him. Something that I noticed on these rewatch, I think I messaged my friend Nick about this, but he's another big Avatar guy. He's the one who got me into the game, Frontiers of Pandora. Something I messaged Nick about is when, and I just think this is really cute, when Neytiri first meets Jake, she is trying to kill him, right? She's got this bow on him. She's about to let it go and kill his avatar. And when she introduces him to the Ikran and tells him to choose his Ikran, she says, "It will choose you." And he says, "How will I know it has chosen me?" And she says, "Because it will try to kill you." And she mentions at the beginning of Way of Water, when they're talking to their kids, she says, "When I first met your dad, I was trying to kill him." So see, there's a little something there. Like, she chose Jake because she was trying to kill him, just like an Ikran will choose you because it's trying to kill you. I think that's cute. I think it's intentional. I think it's a cute little thing. Jake and Neytiri are very cute together. And I don't think the movie is like a white savior thing, because Jake is only able to save them, because he becomes this, incredible symbol of like what the Pandora can do to you, like falling in love with Pandora is like, and how much it can change you. And so he's got these roots to the sky people, but like just being exposed to the natives and the culture has changed him and made, and I think he's like a really important symbol for like what just learning about other cultures and like listening to Mother Earth, and just seeing how beautiful nature can be. I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling, but I don't know. I don't think it's like a white savior thing. It kind of is the chosen one trope, because Awa chooses him. Maybe Awa sees that he is this important bridge between the sky people and the Na'vi, because he is kind of what brings them together. Grace, Sigourney Weaver's character, is kind of not really a part of the tribe. Like, they don't really trust her. And as Jake is brought in and becomes a member, he is able to now bring Grace back into the group and let her interact with the Na'vi. And even Norm. Norm, he's the really lanky guy from the dodgeball movies. But Jake Sully's cool. I mean, he's a cool character, and he's Turok Makto, for Christ's sake. Don't disrespect Turok Makto. But yeah, I like all the family stuff in Way of the Water, I guess, is what I was getting at. I like how, this seeing Jake Sully and Neytiri, like how they raise a family and the relationship he has with his kids. I'm not fully sold on the whole, what's his name? Nateo, the son that, spoiler alert, click off this video if you've not seen Way of the Water, even though you maybe see where this is going. But Nateo, the son that dies at the end of Way of the Water, he's shot and killed by the RDA. I'm not fully sold on the whole Nateo angle. I think it's sweet. I think it's that final scene with him, Jake Sully connecting to Awa, and spending time with his son Nateo again within Awa, the entity that houses everyone after they've passed. And I think that's sweet, but I don't see what the movie's necessarily saying there. Maybe I need to watch it again and again and again and again. But I try and think. I pick my brain, and I don't know what it's saying there, but I do like. Okay, a lot of people don't like this. A lot of people don't like the fact that Colonel, I think he's a Colonel Miles Quaritch comes back. Stephen Lang, the bad guy from the first movie. A lot of people don't like that he comes back as a bad guy. And I gotta say, I love that he comes back. He is fucking back with a vengeance, but this time he's in a 9-foot-tall Na'vi body, dude. I think it's awesome that they bring all those soldiers back, even the bald dude who gets crushed by one of those hammerhead. I think that's what they're called. They're like hammerhead, freaking rhinos or whatever. I think it's really cool. I think it's fun that all these military guys are now like back to get revenge on Jake Sully years later. I mean, it is a little silly, but silly's not bad. Like, just like, I think a lot of people think that silly, cheesy, kind of corny stuff is inherently bad, and it's not. I mean, if you like genre films, like I love horror movies, I love Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi makes shit that people think is corny or cheesy or whatever. And what I have to say about that is fuck off. Like, they're fun movies. They know what they're doing. It's like, it's not like they're making a mistake. They made the movie and then they're watching it and someone's like, oh, that was kind of cheesy. And they're like, oh no, like Sam Raimi knows that his transitions, like a lot of people made fun of his transitions in Doctor Strange in the Mouth of Madness or whatever, Multiverse of Madness. It's like they're doing what they want to do, and they're doing it like without, I don't know, they're not concerned about what you think or what the public thinks. Like, the public is so, media nowadays is just like with everything online, it's like everything is about everything is meta. Everything is over analyzing everything, and like that's how humor in certain like blockbuster movies is nowadays. It's like, did I just say that? Like, it's like you're allergic to being in the moment. Like, you're not able to just, I don't know, you're not allowed to just like be a movie anymore. And so like you see something like a trope that is like done in movies, even if it's done well, you see something that you might classify as cheesy or corny, and because of the age we live in now, it's like, oh, well, that's cheesy. And you're not in the movie. You're not like seeing if what they're trying to do is done well or if it's evoking anything out of you. It's like it's this culture that we've created of just being so over analyzing everything and being so self-aware all of the time. And it's just like, let go every once in a while. Just like be swept up in a movie and like let it exist. Let it be a movie, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm on my second beer and I'm never able to clearly express this opinion every time I talk about it, but it feels earnest when people when James Cameron makes a movie, or when there's I don't know, when Sam Raimi makes a movie. It feels earnest, authentic, honest. And I just think the current culture that we live in, people don't appreciate that. They're always thinking about, I don't know. Just have fun and watch movies, guys. I guess that's my point. Like, let a movie just be a movie and have fun with it sometimes. And I'm not saying that like in the sense that of like in defense of like Marvel movies either. Like, it's just entertainment. Just don't analyze it. I'm not saying don't analyze. I just think that instead of being like, that's corny, that's cheesy, like, give me something more. What are you saying? How is it cheesy? What does cheesy even mean anymore? It's like feels like such a loaded word. What is cheesy? What is corny? Just more so like, I think it's kind of a lazy criticism at this point. It's like, I don't want to really get into it that much, but even though I kind of have for the past 10 minutes or whatever, but I just like honesty and earnestness and movies. I don't like meta humor that much. I don't like self-awareness as much. Like, I'm already so self-aware in life. Movies are the last place I want that. Did I just say that? Or that sounded a lot better in my head. Whatever. Yeah, so that's how long we've been going. About 50 minutes. Okay. I wanted to show you guys, I have these out. Don't know if you've seen them. I got my little Avatar Legos. right here. Maybe I'll zoom in on him for you. But this is Colonel Miles Quaritch in his RDA mech, his little mech, which those are awesome too. Like the technology they use, like so unnecessary. Like if you were a company going to Pandora and you wanted, just giving your guys like huge mechs, and there's tons of them. It's like, but it's badass. And this is Neytiri on her, I think they're called Thanators. Thanators, I know that because of the video game. I'm learning all the names of the creatures and whatnot. This is the scene where Neytiri fucking kills Miles Quaritch in the first movie. Oh my god, if you've seen Way of the Water, it's so cold how Miles's avatar picks up the skull of his former self and then just crushes it in his hand. Like, oh my god, it's so badass. It's like moments like that where it's like, I don't care if that shit's fucking what you would think is cheesy or corny. Like, that fucking rules. That's awesome. Why I like him coming back in the second movie so much is, dude, Stephen Lang is incredible. Like, in that first movie, he is like one of my favorite antagonists ever. And not because he's deep, he's not that he's like a super complex, layered character. He's just so fucking good at what he's doing. He's playing this kind of almost comically evil corporal or colonel, and then he gets this fucking grudge for Jake Sully, and he is just going balls to the wall. Like, God, he's so good. He's just such a good performer, and I love seeing him on camera, And so to see him come back was just awesome. And now he's blue and big, and so like now he can not fight in his mech. Like now he can hand-to-hand combat with Jake Sully, which, dude, that final fight in Way of the Water is amazing, is awesome. What everybody quotes is, everybody online at least, whenever Jake Sully's about to leave and Miles is trying to like tempt him to come back and fight him, he's like, "Wherever you go, Jake, just know I'll be there coming after you to kill you and your entire family." And then Jake turns around and looks at him and goes, "Then let's get it done." And boom, we're into the fight. Like, that line is so cold too. "Then let's get it done." Boom. Yeah, it's badass. It's awesome. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the game, if you care. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is a video game that came out recently. It looks beautiful. Don't know if you've been watching any of it behind me for all my YouTube watchers, but this person right here is on their ikran. You get an ikran, and you can fly all across Pandora. But yeah, the game, essentially, you are a Na'vi person who has been raised by the RDA, by the humans. You were ripped from your family when you were young, and you're kind of being used as diplomats, I guess. You're like being forced to learn the human ways, and you can speak Na'vi. And yeah, and then Jake Sully starts the revolution, and you kind of break free, and can kind of go do your own thing. And you have to discover Pandora because you were raised in these metal human facilities as a Na'vi person. And that is the heart of the game, is the exploration of Pandora. And it's so cool that you get to play as a Na'vi person, but you are discovering Pandora the same way they are. You don't jump into the game and they're an experienced Na'vi warrior or hunter, like you have as much experience on Pandora as your character. And so you have to learn certain plants and animals, and you meet with different tribes, and you explore, and that's the heart of the game. That's what's fun about it to me. You learn about different you craft, essentially, so you can make a new bow, or make you can cook food with different ingredients, but you have to go harvest the ingredients. You have to go get a branch to make a bow, and based on, you have a little journal, and based on your hunter's guide, you can determine where the best quality ingredients are, whether it's a fruit, or whether it's a branch, or whether it's some moss for you to make yourself some new clothes or something. And you just explore the world, and figure shit out, dude. And that is so fun as a Navi, to just go around and figure shit out. I guess I won't get too much into the game, but it's just really cool because I am an Avatar enjoyer, and I love the Avatar movies as movies. I love the way that they are crafted, and there's incredible craftsmanship there in what they do in making those movies, and that's why I love those movies, and I love the characters and the story. This game does not have characters from the movie, really. It doesn't have Jake Sully, it doesn't have Neytiri, it doesn't have any of those people. So it's more so just opening you up to a new side of Pandora that you don't get in the movies. And that's what I love about the game. I love exploring and learning about the world, even though it's shit that's probably not going to be important to the movies at all. But it's cool to be in this world that I love and learn more about it. I think that's it's really cool. It would be like if you got a Godfather game and got to explore and meet new characters who aren't mentioned in the movie. No, that actually sounds lame as hell. But yeah, anything else I want to touch on before I let you go? I love Avatar. I love James Cameron. Oh, I did want to mention I saw The Abyss, which is a James Cameron movie. They did a special screening of The Abyss because it was getting a 4K release. And so they did a one night screening, one night only. How stupid is this? Listen to this. It was one night only. So they did it on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Okay, yeah. Theater was not that packed because I'm assuming that, first of all, they didn't market it at all. I literally saw it because I was scrolling looking at what movies were showing that week. And that's how I saw it. But The Abyss is great. Dare I say phenomenal. Never seen it before. But wow, it is essentially a movie about I think it's an underwater, some kind of underwater mining or drilling base. It's this big rig with all these normal working class people working on this rig to drill or mine or harvest something. Don't know specifically, but the lead is Ed Harris. Ed Harris is a phenomenal actor. I loved him in this, by the way. And there is, I think it's an American sub, military sub that goes down, and the military contracts out this rig that is close to where the sub crashed, and they say, hey, we'll pay you guys all a bunch of extra money if you go down and retrieve any bodies and important information from this sub. We don't have enough time to put our own subs in the water to go save them. You guys are close enough. You're already down here. Can you guys go and just get it for us? We'll pay you a lot of money. We'll save a lot of time, maybe save lives. They don't really want to do it, but they're going to say, they're going to get a bunch of extra money, a bunch of working class people. The cast, ironically reminds me a lot of the Aliens cast, just in the sense that there's a lot of variety. They're kind of two-dimensional characters that you grow to love. there's not a ton of depth to characters like freaking Bill Paxton and Aliens, but they each feel defined in their own way. You know, like Ed Harris is a certain kind of character. There's the nerdy science guy who's got a pet rat. There's this black woman who's like one of the pilots or whatever with a cowboy hat. And so, like, you see what I mean? Like, they're all their own little kind of character types. And yeah, the Abyss, it initially starts as that, and then Ed Harris's ex-wife is coming down to the boat to oversee the mission. You know, like, and then essentially something happens and the rig kind of loses power and contact from the people up above the water, so they're kind of stuck underwater. It's kind of, there's a lot of anxiety. You know, water is raising in certain parts of the rig. They feel like they're trapped down there. And it feels like it's a great thriller. And then something happens in the third act of the movie. I'm not going to spoil it. Like, go watch The Abyss if you can. It's now available on 4K Blu-ray, so maybe go buy a copy online, because fucking Best Buy doesn't sell Blu-rays anymore. But something happens in the third act that will make or break the movie for you. And it made it for me. It becomes like a completely different movie in the third act. And I loved it. I was like, oh, I love this now. Like, I was like, this is a good movie. This is a really well-made movie. And then the third act happens, and I was like, oh, no, I think I love this. I think this is even better than I thought it was now. So, yeah, if that doesn't interest you in the movie, you know, I don't know, dude. Just go see it. It's something different, at least. It's James Cameron, for Christ's sake. And I will say, a lot of the underwater stuff, like, they go into the water in The Abyss with, like, underwater suits, scuba suits and whatnot. There's a lot of underwater shots where I was like, okay, how the fuck did he do this? Like, I think The Abyss was in early 2000s, maybe late 90s. And I was legitimately like, oh, how was this done? Like, yeah, it's also kind of like a technological achievement, in my opinion. I don't know. I just never seen anything like that underwater. Like, almost looked like a really well-made underwater documentary at times. I was like, Jesus, how did he do this? Yeah, well, that's about the time I got, guys. So my second time recording the episode, honestly, maybe a little better than the first time. I don't know. But you won't know, and I will never know, because we can never access that footage again because a cat knocked over my camera. I don't know why I brought this over here. I just got this today. I got my Blu-ray of The Holdovers. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I seriously can't get over this movie. I love this movie. I'm going to watch this again very soon. Going to watch the special features. I don't know what this says, but I still haven't gotten Oppenheimer 4K Blu-ray. I don't even think they made a 4K Blu-ray of The Holdovers, so I just got the regular Blu-ray. But I don't know. I keep saying that Oppenheimer is my favorite movie of 2023, but I bought this one before I bought Oppenheimer, so I don't know what that says. I'll let you decide. But yeah, guys, thanks for sticking around while I rambled about the Avatar movies. I appreciate you listening. If you listened, I appreciate you watching if you watched. You know, again, sorry I didn't upload last week. This was going to be last week's video, but again, the cat destroyed it. But yeah, I'm hoping to do weekly. At the very least, I'll do bi-weekly. That's my promise to you. But yeah, and keep coming back. I try to post these on Thursdays, so if you're up one Thursday morning and you want to listen to something, check Chimp Guy Productions. Maybe I got a Monkey Movie Club episode for you. Yep, glad to be here. Glad you're here. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.